Donald Trump, embarrassed, heckled, no crowd control, looks shocked. Here it is.
Trump is the Hitler of our time! Free DC! Free Palestine! Trump is the Hitler of our time! Free DC! Free Palestine! Trump is the Hitler of our time! Free DC! Free Palestine! Trump is the Hitler of our time! What do you want your legacy to be?
Let's go,
He's terrorizing communities in
Let's go, time to go.
He's terrorizing communities
Time to
all
go.
over the world.
Time to go.
From Puerto Rico.
Let's go.
Free DC, free Palestine. Trump is the Hitler of our time.
Put it up full mass. Let me tell you why this is significant. Trump has created an illusion that he is well aware of. MAGA, for the most part, they were aware of this illusion as well. The illusion requires that he is not challenged publicly because he can say, well, everybody loves his policies. Everybody is in agreement. No one is talking about anything else other than what he's saying. This is, well, probably an inside job. All right, so President Donald Trump's bid to showcase that Washington is safe enough for him to dine out, ended in a den of booze and chants Tuesday night. Now, typically, you have an advance team that would handle something like this as protesters swarm his high-profile meal just one block from the White House. Trump arrived at Joe's Seafood, prime steak, and stone crab. This was September 9th. With the Vice President of the United States, JD Vance, Secretary of State Rubio, Pete Hegseth. You got them all, okay? Because Trump told them, be there. It was an unusually public dinner for a president who rarely eats out in the Capitol during his second term, opting instead to visit his own hotels or remaining at the White House. I have my speculation as to what he was actually doing, but it is interesting. An individual who is so paranoid that he typically will only eat fast food, doesn't trust anyone to prepare his meals. Suddenly, he's willing to go out to a restaurant in the public, surrounded by his executive cabinet and more. Reporters were summoned. They were summoned to hear Trump argue that the turnaround under his National Guard-backed crime crackdown has made D.C., quote, virtually crime-free. I'm going to get back to that in a moment. And prove that the city is open for business again has something to do with money. Quote, we're standing right in the middle of D.C., which, as you know, about over the last year, was a very unsafe place. Untrue. Over the last 20 years, Trump told reporters gathered outside, according to the Washington Post, now it's got virtually no crime. But the scene at Joe's undercut Trump's victory lap. Diners and onlookers booed as the motorcade arrived, and protesters inside unfurled signs and shouted before being escorted out. They had signs. Their chant was all the way together, quite witty, which means preparation, planned. They were well aware that this was going to happen. Once again, Trump's advance team typically will clear the way. That did not happen this time. In addition, Donald Trump has decided to sell you a bill of goods. There was a debate on Indisputable a couple of years ago about placing armed individuals inside of every school, even arming school teachers. And just because something may potentially stop some type of adverse behavior, it doesn't mean it should not be weighed against the intrusion of your constitutional rights and basic privacy. Period. So Trump wants to sell you on the virtually no crime aspect. That's what he's selling. Crime happens. They're not arresting anybody. If crime happens, arrests happen, but they can just stop arresting and say crime isn't happening because that's how they gather the data. I'm going somewhere. So protesters mixed opposition to the guard deployment with criticism of the administration's foreign policy, shouting lines including, quote, "Free DC, free Palestine," and "Trump is Hitler of our time." Videos posted to social media show. One video clip of Trump appearing visibly annoyed by the disturbance was especially rewarding for viewers. I don't think he was disturbed by them as much as he was disturbed by somebody on his team set him up. A clip uploaded to Threads read, "Trump's face when he's met with opposition is just golden. He crumbles under the pressure. He hates being questioned." The post quickly went viral with over 6,000 likes, 500 comments, quickly growing. Quote, "He looks extremely pissed off. I hope it ruined his evening," said Maggie Eric. Some viewers were convinced Trump was caught off guard by this protest. Quote, "He was smiling until he realized what they were saying. To me, it looked like he almost wanted to do his empty brain dance because I don't think he heard what they said at first. Once he understood, that's when he made the get out gesture," another surmise. Quote, "He looked super pissed when his head was tilting. His little hands were flapping. He definitely heard them," Maggie Eric replied with the follow-up. Other clips show Trump staring down, the protesters who are just a few feet away from him inside the restaurant. Trump used the moment to announce the expansion of the National Guard to another city where he says government officials may welcome him with open arms. Okay, so as we said, DC is a proxy. It is a power play to see if he could get away with it without having a constitutional debate, fight. But he should. Why is it that he's not having these knockdown, drag out court battles over questionable and illegal, corrupt policies? It's interesting. There's more. Quote, "We're going to announce," and it's because it's black folk, by the way. "We're going to be announcing another city that we're going to very shortly," he said, adding that the mayor of that city and the governor of the state would love us to be there, reported AP. Trump's visit was due in part to prove reporters and others wrong who called out his penchant for staying within White House walls to dine. When asked about it at the Oval Office last week, Trump responded, quote, "Do you want me to prove you wrong? I think it's something we could consider doing. I'd love to do it," he said. "I love the White House food, but after a while, I could see going to a nice restaurant. It's safe." Okay, so somebody double dog dared you. All right. Trump says the mayor and the governor, they want him there. But the mayor and the governor are not independent surrogates. They are surrogates of the public order, representing the public trust by way of a democratic process known as an election. If the people who put them in power don't want you there, that becomes the actual measure. The White House claims nearly 2,200 arrests were made since the Washington crackdown on August 7th. However, local businesses are feeling the sting. Quote, "This is our pandemic 2.0, said CEO of a restaurant, the Restaurant Association of Metropolitan Washington, to Axios. And according to online reservation platform on Open Table, reservations are down 20% in the city since August 16th. Quote, "It's never been more important for the administration to recognize the important role restaurants and bars play in communities across the country," said the executive director of the Independent Restaurant Coalition in a statement obtained by CNN. "The reality on the ground is tough. Reservations are down nationwide, costs remain high, and too many independent restaurants are operating on razor-thin margins." He's making a perfect scenario to make a play in order to purchase. Maybe not him directly, maybe indirectly through some of his cronies. But he's reforming the city just as he is doing with the nation. But he's only one man, and he's barely a man at that. We don't have to let it happen because we are bringers of light, information, truth, wisdom, knowledge. All right, Jamie, dear brother, tell me your thoughts.
You know, looking at his face, in my head, I thought I heard him think, this is exactly what I get for trying to eat with JD Vance anywhere. I bet this is the last time he ever does that. You know, if all it took was a double dog dare for him to do this, we should have been daring him to do other things. We need to dare him. I bet you won't lift these tariffs, or I bet you won't move to the Bahamas and never come back.
Or release the Epstein files.
Or release the Epstein files. Yeah, so fundamentally, as this shows, I mean, this is a president who hates this country and who hates the people that live in it. He does not agree with our system of government, and he is dipping his toes in to see how much backlash he's going to get for declaring martial law randomly. I mean, the National Guard isn't even fighting crime in DC. They're picking up trash and walking around with the thumbs in places. You know, from this to declaring war on the city of Chicago, renaming the Department of War, and then when that reporter pressed him on it, I mean, he lost his stuff on her, like he didn't, like he wasn't the one to say it. Right. Fundamentally, I don't know where this president is. It looks like he's losing his mind, and I think things like receiving backlash from reporters and getting protests to his face are going to prove to be maybe even a dangerous thing. Because I'm afraid as to what a person with such a small man with such a tiny ego and thin paper skin, how he's going to react to this. And I mean, he's already sent in the military, well, at least threatening to send the military across the nation, which, as you alluded to, is wholly illegal. But, you know, this is the Trump administration. He's done 50 illegal things this month, and it's the 9th to 10th. So I love to see it. I will say it made my day, because I don't know if I've ever seen Donald Trump face the ire of people directly, and at least not to this extent. And so it does the heart warm, but I'm a little nervous to see what will come next.
Don't be nervous, dear brother. It's only a facade. It's only a facade.